The river doesn't move here. It holds its breath. Somewhere beneath the black surface, something ancient waits, older than fear itself, older than memory. The jungle presses close, but even the insects have gone silent. There's no moon tonight, just the weight of darkness and the slow, rhythmic pulse of water against mud. You can feel it before you see it, that primal knowing that you're being watched, that you've already been chosen. The crocodile doesn't hunt, it simply waits. And when the river forgets the sun, it remembers only hunger. This stretch of river has no name. The locals won't speak of it after dusk. They say the water here is older than the trees, that it flows backward when no one's watching. Tonight, the jungle exhales slowly, and the mist crawls across the surface like something alive. The air tastes metallic, rotten, sweet. Beneath the ink-black water, a shape longer than a fallen tree lies motionless. Eyes like polished stones break the surface, unblinking, unmoving, reflecting nothing. The crocodile has been here for hours, days, perhaps. Time doesn't matter to a creature that has perfected stillness. Its body is a submerged log, its heartbeat slower than the current itself. Something approaches us. A sambar deer steps carefully through the reeds, drawn by thirst it can no longer ignore. Its ears twist and flick, searching for danger in the suffocating silence. Every instinct screams retreat, but the fever of dehydration pushes it forward. The deer's reflection trembles on the water's surface. It lowers its head. The crocodile's pupils dilate. Not yet. Patience is the oldest language. The crocodile learned it before mammals walked upright, before fire was stolen from lightning. It doesn't need to rush. The river will bring everything to its jaws eventually. The deer drinks in desperate gulps, and with each swallow, it commits itself further. Its front hoof sinks slightly into the soft mud at the water's edge. Still, the crocodile waits. A night bird calls somewhere distant, a sound like tearing fabric. The deer's head snaps up, water dripping from its muzzle. Its wide eyes scan the darkness, seeing everything and nothing. It takes one step back, then freezes. Something has changed in the water. The ripples move wrong. The reflection distorts. The crocodile's tail shifts, just once, a movement so subtle it barely disturbs the surface. But the deer feels it. That ancient terror coded into its DNA fires every nerve. It knows. Too late, it knows. The water holds its breath again, and in that terrible silence, the river begins to remember. The crocodile's brain runs calculations older than mathematics. Distance, angle, energy expenditure, probability of success. Every variable measured in fractions of seconds, in millimeters of miscalculation that could mean the difference between feast and famine. 17 feet of prehistoric muscle lies coiled beneath the surface, invisible as death itself. The deer's front legs are 18 inches from the water. Its center of gravity leans forward, still weighted by thirst and exhaustion. Perfect geometry. The crocodile's eyes sink lower, disappearing beneath the black mirror of water. This is the signature move, the erasure. When those eyes vanish, the countdown has begun. Everything that happens next will unfold in less than 3 seconds. But time moves differently when you're the last creature evolution perfected. The deer's instinct finally screams loud enough. It turns to bolt. Too slow. The water explodes. A sound like thunder and tearing metal simultaneously. The eruption of something that shouldn't be able to move that fast, shouldn't be able to generate that much force. The crocodile's body launches from the shallows with hydraulic precision, jaws already opening to their full terrible architecture. 78 teeth, each one curved backward, designed not to kill, but to grip, to drag, to hold what it catches in permanent embrace. The deer's scream cuts through the jungle, a sound of pure animal terror that makes every creature within a mile freeze in recognition. Primates in the canopy grip branches tighter. A mongoose presses itself flat against the earth. Even the insects understand. Those jaws close around the deer's neck with 3,000 pounds of pressure per square inch, enough to crush bone like dry branches. The deer's eyes go wide, pupils dilating to total blackness as its body tries to process what's happening. Its legs scramble uselessly at air, at water, at nothing. The crocodile has already won. Now comes the part that makes the river forget the sun. Now comes the drowning, the spinning, the dark baptism into a world that existed before land animals dared dream of breathing air. The death roll. It has no official name in nature documentaries because language wasn't built to describe something this ancient, this efficient, this utterly without mercy. The crocodile begins to rotate, using its entire body as a torsion weapon. The deer weighs over 200 pounds, but physics becomes irrelevant when you're built like a living torpedo with a prey animal locked in your jaws. One rotation. The deer's body whips through the air and crashes back into the water, creating a sound like a wet blanket hitting concrete. Blood begins to cloud the surface, black in the darkness. Two rotations. Something inside the deer breaks, a wet crack that echoes across the water. Its legs fold at angles legs shouldn't fold. Consciousness begins to slip away, which is perhaps the only mercy the river will offer tonight. Three rotations. The crocodile drags everything deeper, down where the water turns cold and thick, where sunlight never penetrates even at noon, where the riverbed is carpeted with bones from 1,000 previous meals. The deer's final breaths escape as silver bubbles, rising toward a surface it will never reach again. The struggling stops. The jungle slowly exhales. The night bird calls again, closer now, curious about the silence that follows violence. Ripples spread outward in perfect circles, carrying the story to distant banks where other animals drink. They'll remember. They'll choose different places tomorrow night. But thirst is patient. Thirst always brings them back. The crocodile doesn't surface. Not yet. It holds the carcass in its jaws, suspended in the dark water, waiting for the last tremors to fade from the muscles, waiting for absolute stillness. Only then does it begin to feed, tearing away chunks with brutal head shakes, storing pieces in the underwater caves and crevices where the current can't steal them. This is the part the sun never sees. This is where the river keeps its secrets, where the ancient contract between predator and prey is written in blood and silt and the slow accumulation of bones. 2 hours pass, or perhaps 2 minutes. Time moves strangely where the river forgets the sun. The crocodile has fed, but not completely. It never gorges. Excess weight means slower reactions, and in the water, everything is competition. Other crocodiles, monitor lizards. Even the catfish down here grow large enough to be opportunistic. It returns to its waiting position, the same log-like stillness, the same stone eyes barely breaking the surface. Blood still drifts on the current, a chemical story that every predator downstream can read. Some will come to investigate. The crocodile will wait for them too. This is what makes it perfect. Not the power. Power is common in nature. Not the bite force or the armor of scutes running down its back. What makes it perfect is the absolute, unshakable patience. The ability to shut down its metabolism to near hibernation while remaining fully alert. To wait in water so cold it would send mammals into shock. To endure hunger that would drive other predators into desperate mistakes. A monitor lizard emerges from the reeds, drawn by the scent. It's cautious, intelligent, moving with the careful deliberation of something that knows exactly how dangerous this place is. It spots the deer carcass wedged between submerged roots, or what's left of it. The lizard's tongue flicks out, tasting the air, tasting the water, tasting the story of violence still fresh on the darkness. The crocodile watches. The lizard inches closer. It's 6 feet long itself, a formidable predator in its own right. But here, at the edge of deep water, hierarchy is absolute. The lizard reaches the carcass, begins to tear at the remaining flesh. Quick, efficient bites. Its eyes never stop scanning. The crocodile doesn't move, not because it can't, not because it's full, but because the mathematics don't favor it. The lizard is too close to the bank, too fast, too aware. The crocodile's brain runs the calculation and finds the probability insufficient. So it waits. It always waits. The river forgets the sun, but it never forgets hunger. Dawn is still hours away. The darkest part of night settles over the river like a held breath. This is when the jungle reveals its true nature, not the green cathedral tourists photograph, but the killing floor operating in perfect darkness. Every creature is either hunting or hiding. There is no third option. Further upstream, a fishing cat creeps along the muddy bank. It's smaller than a house cat, absurdly delicate for this environment, but it's here for the same reason everything comes to the river. Hunger. Always hunger. It spots movement in the shallows, tilapia, stunned or dying from the earlier violence, drifting in confused circles. The cat ventures into ankle-deep water, its paws spread wide, designed for this exact purpose. It strikes, fast as a snake, pulling a fish onto the bank. A small victory. In another life, this would be enough. The crocodile's eyes track the movement. The cat is too far, too fast. Wrong angle. The mathematics say no. But the crocodile has learned something else in its decades of hunting. Patience attracts opportunity. Where there's one distracted predator, there will be another. The river is a chain of ghosts, each hunting the hunter, each death feeding the next. A larger shape moves through the water on the opposite bank. Another crocodile, younger, more reckless. It's been attracted by the blood, by the territorial scent markers the older crocodile left on the muddy bank hours ago. This is a challenge, an intrusion. The older crocodile sinks lower. This is different. This requires different calculations. This is about territory, about dominance, about the hierarchy that keeps the river's balance. The younger crocodile is 9 feet long, formidable, aggressive, hungry for status. They sense each other in the darkness, not through sight or sound, but through pressure waves on the water's surface, through electrical signals their lateral line organs detect with supernatural precision. Two apex predators in the same hunting ground. The river holds its breath again. Something has to give. Something always gives. The challenge comes at the third hour of darkness. The younger crocodile crosses an invisible boundary, the line where the older one's territory begins. It's marked not with fences or scent, but with memory, with bone-deep knowledge of who rules this bend in the river. The older crocodile doesn't roar, doesn't thrash. It simply surfaces fully for the first time tonight, revealing its true size. 17 feet of scarred, ancient muscle. Its snout bears the marks of 100 territorial disputes, some from decades ago. Its tail is thick as a man's torso, capable of delivering blows that would shatter bone. The younger crocodile freezes. This is the moment where decisions are made. Fight or submit. Dominance or exile. In the crocodile's cold brain, the calculation runs. Injury risk versus territory gain. The probability shifts and settles. It begins to back away, slowly, never turning its back, always maintaining eye contact. The older crocodile watches it retreat. Doesn't pursue. Doesn't need to. The message is delivered. This stretch of river, where the water runs deep and the sun is forgotten, belongs to something that has survived longer than memory. Something that killed its first prey before the younger crocodile's mother was born. When the intruder disappears into the upstream darkness, the older crocodile sinks again, returns to its waiting position. The look! The stone eyes. The perfect stillness. Victory tastes like nothing because victory is simply the continuation of what already exists. The river doesn't reward dominance. It only permits survival. A new sound enters the jungle symphony. Footsteps. Human footsteps. Distant still, but approaching. The crocodile's brain adds this new variable to its constant calculations. Humans are dangerous in ways other prey aren't. Unpredictable, sometimes armed, sometimes traveling in groups. But they're also careless. They come to the river despite the warnings. Despite the missing persons reports that accumulate in district offices and are filed away under accident or wildlife encounter, the crocodile waits. It's been waiting for 70 years. It can wait another hour. Pre-dawn. The sky hasn't brightened yet, but the jungle knows the sun is coming. The night birds fall silent. The day birds haven't started. There's a 15-minute window where the world holds its breath between darkness and light. This is when mistakes happen, when nocturnal predators make desperate final hunts, when day creatures emerge too early, emboldened by the promise of sunrise that hasn't arrived. The human footsteps grow closer. A single person, moving carefully but not carefully enough. A fisherman, probably, seeking the best spots before others arrive. He carries a bucket and a rod, moving with the false confidence of routine. He's done this 100 times. Walked this same path. Cast his line into this same stretch of water. The crocodile tracks the vibrations through the ground, through the water, through the air itself. The human stops at the bank, 20 feet from where the crocodile waits. Perfect range, perfect angle. The mathematics shift and settle into optimal configuration. But something else happens. The first ray of sunlight breaks over the eastern trees. It's indirect, filtered through mist and canopy, but it touches the water. Just a single beam, like a spotlight finding an actor on a stage. It illuminates the crocodile's eyes. The fisherman sees them. For a moment, neither moves. Human and predator, locked in the oldest recognition. The crocodile's brain runs the calculation one final time. The human is at the water's edge, off balance, vulnerable. The probability of success is high, higher than the deer, higher than the monitor lizard. But the sun has returned to the river. The crocodile's cold intelligence processes this new variable. Daylight brings witnesses, brings retaliation, brings hunting parties with guns and ropes and the systematic destruction of everything it has built over decades of survival. The mathematics say no. The crocodile sinks. Slowly, deliberately, it submerges until only ripples remain. The fisherman stands frozen, bucket trembling in his hand. He'll tell this story later. No one will believe him, but he'll never come back to this spot. The river remembers. The river always remembers. The sun climbs higher. The jungle transforms into the version tourists recognize, green and vibrant and seemingly benign. Monkeys call from the canopy. Birds flash between branches in explosions of color. The river sparkles, almost inviting, as if last night never happened. But beneath the surface, evidence remains. Bones settle into the silt. Blood feeds the microorganisms that feed the fish that feed the birds. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is mourned. This is the efficiency of ecosystems that have perfected themselves over millions of years. The crocodile has moved to deeper water, where a submerged look provides shade even at noon. It floats there, motionless, digesting the night's hunt. Its metabolism has shifted to energy conservation mode. It might not eat again for weeks, might not move from this spot for days. The perfect predator doesn't need constant action. It needs constant readiness. By midday, children play on a sandbar half a mile downstream. Their laughter carries across the water. Their parents watch from the shore, relaxed, enjoying the sunshine. They don't know about the stretch of river upstream. Don't know about the place where the water runs deep and cold, where the sun is forgotten. The local elder knows, though. He sits under a tree, watching the children, remembering the stories passed down through generations. The river god, they call it in whispers. The old one, the patient one. He knows better than to speak these things aloud in daylight. The modern world doesn't believe in river gods. But every few months, someone goes missing. A fisherman who left before dawn. A farmer watering livestock. A drunk man who bet his friends he could swim across. The reports are filed. The searches are conducted. Sometimes they find remains. Usually they don't. The crocodile doesn't know or care about human stories. It knows only water and waiting, hunger and patience, the eternal cycle of predator and prey. And as the afternoon sun beats down on the green cathedral of jungle, the river begins its slow journey toward forgetting the sun once more. When darkness returns, the river will remember its true nature. The crocodile will rise to the surface again, stone eyes reflecting nothing, ancient brain calculating angles and distances and the probability of prey. This is the law that predates all others. The patient inherit the kill. The sun will leave. It always does. And in that space between light and dark, where the river forgets warmth and remembers only cold equations, the hunt continues. Forever. If the water's stillness hasn't broken you yet, share the fear with others. Subscribe and witness what waits when darkness returns.